Hello, happy Friday. It's June 12th, episode 7, and the week with the Geeks. Let's bring on Christina. Hello.
Hello. What's going on?
What's going on? How are you?
Great.
All right, so episode 7 for episode number 1 from inside the actual Techie Geek office. We are back in the office as of this Monday. So it feels good to be here in the office, and we are ready to answer your IT questions. Do we have any questions lined up? Put them in the comments. Facebook, we're here to answer them. Until we get questions, Christina, any topics that I should cover?
Probably should have thought about this earlier.
We probably should.
I always forget we haven't the week at the Geeks. I'm not used to this yet, even though we're 7 episodes in.
That's almost 2 months.
It's still I missed last week because I totally forgot.
All right. Until we get questions, let's talk about email protection, because that's a big one, and that's been coming up a lot in a lot of discussions. So with everything going on with COVID, Corona, and we've discussed it. We had a webinar last week, and that came up as it as well. Is email is a very easy point of entry for scam artists and hackers to take control. So what do? They send lots of fake emails out. What we're seeing with the coronavirus and COVID is you're seeing a lot of emails based on giving you free PPE equipment. Hey, sign up now and we'll mail you 100 free masks. Sign up now, we'll send you a 3-pack of Lysol disinfectants. Obviously, when people are just giving you free stuff, you got to be extra careful about it. Is it legitimate? Is it not legitimate? But the big thing the takeaway from this is, a lot of businesses, unfortunately, rely on their email provider to provide that protection. So they say, oh, I have Office 365, or I have G Suite. Well, those are email providers, and they put good levels of protection, but not great. They give you entry level protections, if we would. You need to protect that with another solution. We have a Techie Geek stack of solutions that is incoming, outgoing, as well as encrypted emails. There's a lot of solutions out there. You want to make sure that you go ahead and properly protect your email. I pulled a report yesterday. In the last 28 days, out of all our clients, about 17% of emails never hit a client's mailbox because it was targeted as spam and unwanted. Removed. That's 17% of emails. Another 8% of emails were attacks. Those were known scams, known 0-day target attacks that target you and try to take advantage of you to fall for a phish and to enter your credentials and to fall for that phishing. 8% of that. Another 1%, it was just under 1%, were known viruses that were in the email that were removed. So right there, you have a huge percentage of email that is removed from a user's mailbox before it hits that mailbox. So why is that important? That's important because without employee training, which is, we always talk about employee training and the need for that, you might have an employee that goes and gets that email, goes, oh, we're hiring? Why is there a resume coming? Opens the resume, clicks the enable macros, and now they've just infected your company network. Employee training is key. However, it's your job to make sure as much as possible that those bad emails never hit their email box. And that's your job as management. So yes, Office 365, G Suite are great email platforms. They have to be properly protected, right? You buy a beautiful front door with a strong door, you still have to put a good lock on that door to make sure when you turn the deadbolt, it holds. And that's the same thing. And with email, you want to make sure you protect that. So that's one thing. So we're 5 minutes in. We spoke email. So we'll continue email until we get questions. And remember,
you're not coming in, Mike. We can't see you. You're not coming in. You're frozen.
Really?
Yeah.
I got it. Great. So I've been setting up and moving. Can you see me now?
Don't even bother. You sound like a robot. They don't understand you. Ay. So, does anyone else have any IT questions? I'll take over until you can get it together.
Am I still frozen?
Yeah. Now you're gone. Alrighty, so I think until he gets back, I will talk about. Let's talk about what's going on right now. We just did a virtual expo yesterday. Interesting times to live in when your expos. You're back. Hey.
Yeah. So I have to get my whole new setup here. So we've been moving stuff into the office. So I'm running off my laptop. I don't have everything right. I gotta get things going because the camera does not like being on a hub, and we could talk about why that is at another date. But USB hubs are not the best, So let's hope that's anyway. So you're talking about our virtual expo.
I was talking about the virtual expo. I was just going to talk about how it's pretty wild since we had 2 days doing it, and seeing that's the new way of communicating and networking. And the whole thing, I thought going into it was going to be clients and sales and being able to talk to people and stuff, but it was strictly just people networking. That's the only conversations I really had, was people trying to just add me to your list, send me an email, blah blah blah. And I got a bunch of people that added me on Instagram, and someone added me on Facebook, and I had a couple people that added me on LinkedIn, which is pretty cool. But I mean, I'm not really a networker myself. I can't really say
it was not really IT. So we can make this IT related because it is a virtual expo. It's kind of new, right? With the whole thing, it's definitely interesting. And a lot harder setup than you would imagine for a real booth, but something to try, and we tried it, and now it's up to us to try to see if we had over 200 people visit our booth virtually. We had about, I would say, in that list you have, Christina, about 60 people probably downloaded content. Some of them had nothing better to do than just click away and download everything of ours. Great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's interesting. See what happens.
At least they were interested.
At least they were interested. So end the week with the Geeks. This is for you. This is your chance to ask us questions. The one thing that we probably need to take away from this, Christina, is I only made this today and post it an hour ago. We should probably build the live session in Monday and start promoting and letting people enter their questions. So
we'll do it on Monday on Breakfast with Bloomy.
After Breakfast with Bloomy, we'll create the live session. But we have viewers here. Please ask your IT questions. This is 15 minutes of our time to answer any questions you may have that normally we probably bill for you. Think of this as a lawyer. You finally have a lawyer, and you have a chance to ask him all those law questions, legal questions you've been looking.
We're your consultant right now.
We are your free consultant from 2 to 2:15 on End the Week with the Geeks on Facebook Live. What other topics should we discuss? Things to be on the lookout for. I don't know. And the other thing we should probably do is have just a list of things we could grab off of when we don't have questions.
Where's Todd at? He always has 101 questions.
He's actually on the phone with support, and they're helping him. He's finally getting his laptops looked at.
Really? All right. I'll allow it.
We'll allow that. We're 10 minutes in. And you know what? If we don't have any other questions, I guess we'll cut it short today.
I'm looking at the list of things people downloaded. Maybe we could talk about one of those.
I know there was Sideways look.
Yeah, I have to look sideways. 5 reasons your organization should move to the cloud.
We could talk about that. Let me see if I pull that up, because that was a good infographic. All right, here we go. If you have laptops that you are no longer needed, I'm assuming your follow-up to that is how to properly dispose of that. Is that correct, Terry? So if you have a laptop that you no longer need, what you would like to do is, ideally, you would like to pull out the hard drive. However, that has gotten, how would you get rid of the info? So in the ideal world, a lot of the old school laptops, you were able to, right on the underneath of a laptop, you were able to use 2 screws, remove a hard drive cover, and remove the hard drive. And you could basically, from that, hold that hard drive, get rid of the laptop, and then properly destroy the hard drive. Either way, a lot of people like to destroy hard drives by smashing them with hammers, and there's a lot of fun ways to do it. However, in MacBooks and newer computers, which are known as unibody laptops, that's a lot harder. You almost have to take apart the whole laptop. So there are big companies out there, businesses out there that will actually destroy that laptop properly for you. What they'll do is they'll either open up the laptop and remove the hard drive and then dispose of the hard drive, or they'll do they'll use a special tool that will overwrite your hard drive a number of times. This way, the data is not recoverable if someone was to get a hold of your hard drive. If you wanted to do it yourself, there's tools out there. You would search for like a drive eraser, it's called, and you would download it. You'd have to run it, and it would run on that hard drive. You'd want to do at least a 2 or 3 pass, it's known as, to delete that data. Once you get rid of the hard drive, and you have the laptop ready to be disposed of, that goes into the different laws of the different cities and states. So in New York City, you could kind of call and let them know you have a computer electronic to pick up, and they'll schedule a date now. Or you can always drop it off at a Staples, or Best Buy will actually take old equipment and recycle that for you.
Wow, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yes. So yeah, you can't just toss electronics in the garbage. You're not supposed to, at least.
I know, like batteries and stuff, you can't. But
well, that's the problem. Most electronics have either batteries or all different things. So that's why they don't want you to do that. So thank you, Terry. That was a good question. I hope I answered that for you. Great. Thank you. Yep. Yeah. And Best Buy might even offer the service. Again, we don't do residential. For business, we handle like that type of thing where we'll come to a business, collect all the equipment, wipe all the drives. For personal, I believe Staples or Best Buy probably will offer the erasing of the hard drives if needed. So on that note, we are going to end the week with the Geeks. Next week will be episode 8. Look for Monday when we'll post the stream. We'll get this out, ask your questions. This is, again, our time to answer your questions. Christine, you have any closing words?
No, everyone enjoy your weekend. It's supposed to be a beautiful weekend.
Yes, it is, right? I think it's supposed to be a beautiful week. Like
Ooh, I hope so.
The 10-day forecast looks very good. And please check out love.techiegeek.com. That is we have a lot of great testimonials out there, so check it out. And then the other thing, Christina, we're going to work on, we're going to build it out so we have headers going on this to really let people know what we're talking about during the Friday session. That's on us. We learn as we go, but we're here for you and the week with the Geeks. Thank you.
Later.